Hi guys, this is Samira Reddy and we're back with the Limitless podcast where we bring you inspirational stories that will really invigorate your day, and that's what it's all about, right? Inspiring people. Today I'm here with a very special guest. I'm a big fan, big fan. He's a singer, composer, producer. What's more important is that he's the symbol, the beacon of really having changed the independent music scene, which I have a lot of respect for. It is none other than Limitless. Guys, I'm so excited to have him.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you for this. I'm so excited. Yeah.
And you know, it's like for me, electronic music
Yeah.
and traditional Indian music and bringing that together,
Yeah.
Limitless,
Yeah.
is quite something, yeah. It's really something extremely cool.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a lot. I try to be as authentic as I can and genuine, and that I guess translates into whatever we're listening to. But yeah.
It does, because
you.
you know, I have to say, like, through the years listening to music, you know what's packaged, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like everyone has this perfect package of the perfect, you
Yeah.
know, music video, and then that goes with, there's always a formula.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ritviz, you've though like taken that formula, thrown it out the window, and you're like, here I am, and I'm gonna just turn it on its head.
Yeah.
And people have really responded to that. And coming from someone who, I have to bring this up. I mean, I shouldn't tell my son this, but you dropped out of school.
I did.
to
Yep.
make music.
Yep.
and you really followed your passion.
I did. Yeah.
And do you look back at that point, and did you have any pushback at that point?
So for me, I need to specify that everything, all of it, all the heroes here are my folks, right? And I think everything, whatever was going in that period, they were going through. I was nicely protected in their shell, making music, right? Because I was just like, guys, I'm gonna do this, and they're like, you do this, right? And so
That's amazing, because most parents won't.
right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. My folks are the heroes here, and they really like allowed me. Allowing is step one.
Yeah.
You know, post that, it never felt like it was. They were always just like that sense of being proud of whatever your child is doing, irrespective of the result, right? And that was so like embedded in my head that I never felt like I needed to prove myself.
I love that you said
Yeah.
irrespective of the result.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
how powerful that is? Because most parents
Yeah.
are only, I guess, stressing out about what is the final outcome.
Yeah,
Will he be
yeah.
able to make money? Will he survive?
Yeah.
Will he be famous? Will he be recognized?
Yeah.
I guess that's what we all are chasing, right? At some
Absolutely,
point.
absolutely.
And they sort of just let you be.
Yeah, I was 17, and I'm telling my folks that, guys, for the next 10 years, till I'm 30, don't expect anything. And they're like, you are with us. We're the only set of friends. We don't have other friends. We're all gonna be fine. And I feel like that sort of really, like that faith, you know, that okay, you do you, and we're happy to just like be around and like, you know, support
Your
you.
parents need to write a book. And I'll
mom's
be the
on
first
it.
person to, I'll be the first person to buy that book, considering I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I want this.
Yeah.
I want to know that special, like,
Yeah.
this formula that you guys have,
Yeah.
which is so different from the
Yeah.
quintessential Indian household where
absolutely.
everybody is so like
Yeah.
trying to chart out your future for you.
Samira, you will not believe the day I decided not to go to school, right? Was the day I feel like my folks had also decided. Like, we didn't even have a conversation. It felt like one day I'm going to school and one day I'm not. That's the level of harmony, like, I'm trying to like describe to you. Like, that's how it was at home.
And what age was this?
I was 17, 18, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it just one day I just stopped going to school, and nothing changed. Didn't feel like anything changed, right? And for the next 1 year, I spent like working on that one track that started it off for me a little bit.
And you said your mother is sort of the person who first gave you that
Yeah.
insight into how to go about music.
I think she was the reason. So my mom's an Indian classical singer, but I don't think music was ever pushed like music was in the house. Dad would play the tabla and everyone. The music was always around, but it was never really pushed on me like academics in general in India, right? So I had such a organic way. Like I would start joining mom for the morning riyaz and stuff.
Wow.
So for me, it was like a very natural, like I walked into it, and I feel like I'm glad they didn't do that, right? Having that background of music also, but like letting the child really come to you rather, you know. So that really helped. And I think that primary influence of Indian classical really was there. And then obviously growing up, West ka pop, hip hop, you know, all of us. Sorry.
But so did you all write the first song together or did you just?
No, I mean, I wrote a bunch of songs. I started writing music in 5th standard, right? So, yeah, and I would like find like beats online and stuff and start like composing on top of it up until I turned like 16, 17, realizing that, okay, that is a whole section of music that I'm not making, so I need to start learning production, right? So then I started learning a lot of that, got into electronic music, spent my next 5 years trying to do, and then, you know, by the time I was like, I think 19, 20, I had complete creative control over like what it is that Ritviz wants to make.
But it comes across because, as I said earlier to you, I'm a big fan of your music videos.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that they're very raw, they're authentic. Sage, which is one of my favorite songs, has the most unique, you know, the awkwardness that people don't really talk about in a day of in this age of social media where everyone's like, oh my God, we look so chak and everything's so great, boy meets cute and, you know, everything is super. You bring in a certain real time into maybe what people go through when they fall in love. Pain, happiness, or everything in between. And so does that come from anything personal? Like, you know, how, I mean, I'm not going to get into your relationships, maybe we should, but anything that has sort of helped you come to that space?
But I think it's such a lovely observation, because I think with the audio experience also, when I think about like whatever it is that I'm doing sonically, right, I like to keep it raw. Right, like my vocals also that I record, right? It's that first take. It's that first take, right? And I want the listener to feel like, okay, there's very little filter here, right? And the same idea was applied to the music videos also, right? And obviously meeting like-minded people is why, you know, Sage happened and Liggy happened, and like I think just all of us believed in this, the rawness of the feeling, right? Just the feeling should translate in the art, right? You know, none of the upri stuff going like, okay, what is like, you know, what is fancy? Or the fancy is the feeling, which is like really trying to like come out. So we love that. We always, like my team also, we're all about like, okay, cool, this is weird, this is strange, but
weird and strange is good.
Weird and strange
is
great.
I'm very much about that.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna come to your new album. Mimi. I love the name. It sounds like a pet name, so I presume it's somebody's name. And who is that person?
It's my mom. Wow.
Listen, I hope my son loves me as much as you love your mom. I'm like,
the album, you know, was always like this album was like a dream for me. Like I knew that at some point in my career I was going to do this from the day like I started making music. So I'm really glad that like it's happening right now. Like this is.
I'm telling you, all the mums listening out there are like, kya beta hai? Who's this boy? Because I'll tell you why. In today's day and age, at least me, you know, with a 7-year-old, I keep thinking there's such a disconnect between kids and parents today, really. How will that synergize when my kid is 14 and 20, and will I be able to keep up? You're that hope. You literally are that hope. So I love the fact that you're so close to your family. It is really like the safe space that you've created, and I guess out of that, this is this ode to your mom, who I've been told is your biggest fan, like your manager.
The other way around. Really? I am the biggest fan. It really truly is the other way around.
Someone said recently to me that they saw your parents at one of your shows and your dad was like grooving up there in the
my
front.
God, I have to talk about this. I have to. So mom, I feel like mom and I are alike that way, where like I have to be in front of the camera, so I've learned my way around it a little bit. My mom doesn't like to like, you know, like I once asked her like, Ma, would you like to climb on stage? She's like, no. Okay, but my dad in the back is like, I am ready, Ritviz. I am here. I'm the showmaker. And this happens, like we were on tour right now. Like he'll be on stage. He has twice the energy. Wow. Like he's up there and he's going wild. So my dad is that person. He's really the party starter in the house.
But that's so amazing that you guys have created that, and from there comes I'm going to bring up this amazing thing that you said recently in an interview, which is us chasing unconditional love. It hit me so hard, Ritviz, so hard, because that's what we all are doing. If you look at it, either it's in some form. And you said somewhere which is amazing and extremely deep for a 26-year-old, because I think in my 40s I finally understood it, that it's not the chase of what the final product is. It is about the process. The reward is the process. How did you even come to that line?
So this album really is that. This album really talks about, so I've always looked at like, okay, cool. Like when I was 19, I was facing certain set of problems. When I was 16, when I was 20, and at all stages of my life, I know there is going to be a problem. So if we like pull out and like look at like all of this from a distance, we'll see timelines that problems are consistent, right? But how you deal with them in different ways is what really matters, is that the process of it all. So when I was writing this album was basically conversations with my mom, which then turned into melodies, which turned into like the project. But for me, it hit me towards the end of the writing process that the subject can change. Subject will be changing, but the fact that mom's out here talking to me about it and helping me heal through this is all about this relationship.
So when you say heal, what do you think you're healing from?
Everything. I think all of the stuff that we're all dealing with, you know.
Adulting,
right? Yeah. I'm just like, you know.
I'm still healing.
I think it's all set of problems that we're all facing in our 20s, 30s, you know.
Because
like,
I think we all are cocooned with this sort of safe space.
Yeah.
And then we're thrown out into the world and we're like, okay, you got to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of constantly, I guess, keeping up with it.
Yeah.
And so I guess what you're trying to say is in this album, you sort of understand that it's constant, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's going to evolve.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, yes, absolutely.
And that's so beautiful because that's what I said, it's really deep. You know, and what's beautiful is that you've understood that it's going to change.
Yeah.
But what's amazing about the album is that you have actually captured it in something that is timeless.
Hey,
it's going to be there. It's going to be there forever. And not only that, you're sharing it with us. So sort of basically what you've done is created something that's forever, and that's what Mimi is all about.
I thank you. That means a lot. The way I see it is that we constantly keep thinking about like, oh, I'm fighting this, I'm doing that, you know. We tend to forget how we're able to do that, you know. And this album really is about understanding what support is. You know, like, for example, I think with this album, the conversations that I have with my mom is like, oh my God, what is love? What is the idea behind this feeling that I'm chasing? Because this is something that I was taught as a kid, but it's not necessarily the same kind of love that exists in the world, right? So the whole album is about like me trying to understand that, only to realize that that is something that I will figure out at some point, but I was only able to reach here because of the support that was provided, right? So support isn't talked about because support is so transparent, right?
And taken for granted.
Yeah, and taken for granted. And I've walked this journey with mom, I've walked this journey with my dad, and it never felt like it. Like I told you, right? One day I just stopped going to school, it didn't feel like anything changed at home. And I think that itself is such a big deal, right? My mom's was a classical singer, but she's also HOD in the music department at a school, right? Like in the same school I went to, right? So you can imagine me, one fine day, I'm not going to school anymore. But Ma's not coming back and telling me what it is like in school and what people might be saying at that point.
Oh my God,
right?
India is so much about what people are saying. I can tell you that.
You know?
So she's...
Yeah, so, and for me, like today, I'm on Twitter and I'll see one stupid tweet and that'll mess with my mood. I'm thinking I left school in 10th, 11th grade and I did not, none of it affected me because I was like in this cocoon, like my folks are not letting any of that external factor come in, you know. So I think that is why I'm able to do what I'm doing today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But what would you tell someone who is a budding singer, coming into this industry, looking at someone as independent as you and also looking at what's packaged? What advice would you give them to, you know, maybe they have the support, maybe they don't. So many of them don't. They come alone to Bombay in this thing of, you know, building a dream.
Absolutely.
How, first of all, I want you to sort of throw light on two pieces of advice. One is for somebody who's without the support. And one is for a parent or a friend or someone out there listening who can be a support. So first we're going to go with, what do you tell someone who wants to do this?
I think if it's not parents, it's friends, you know, like I think we all end up finding our people, you know, in or outside the family. I think that really is variable there, but I think knowing their worth is really important, you know, And as long as you know that you're able to do what you, nobody can do this and you can't do anything alone. It's like this idea of thinking that I did this all by myself, sometimes comes in the way where like, okay, when support is not provided at home, then it becomes very like, oh, I'm going to prove it to the people that raised me that, hey, I can do this. But there could be like other set of people, your friends, your manager, whoever you end up meeting on your journey that enable you to do what you do, and I think it's important to understand that. So find your people, love your people. Like that's always like, I feel like you are a product of your environment. As long as you know that there's then sky is the limit, right? As long as like, it's the same thing about what you are, what you eat, all of that. It's the same principle everywhere. So I would say that for me, I feel like music, whatever art you're pursuing, you'll figure that out. As long as you have that, you know what you want, even if you don't know what you want. That is a journey. That is your evolution of your, that you'll figure out. But knowing how and who's going to be beside you while you do that, and really like understanding, okay, cool, this is where I'm getting all my energy from. This is what is like enabling me to do this.
Enabling, that's the word.
Yes.
But that's a set. So for me, especially as a parent, I'm just very inspired right now because I'm thinking, I'm going to go back home and maybe change the scene a bit. Because unknowingly we tend to put our thoughts and processes and control it a bit because we want to feel safe that they're making the safe choices. And I guess the second piece of advice we're getting into is to somebody out there who can enable and trust the process a bit. We're going to make mistakes, right?
Absolutely.
But maybe you'll come out into a unique space. Not cookie cutter space. And Ritviz, you are definitely anything but cookie cutter. I'll tell you that for sure. And for me, that is so important today. That if you fit a certain box, then how are you going to shine? Because there's so many of the same boxes. And you pretty much blasted that box.
I really didn't like plan on doing that. I'll tell you why it felt so effortless for me. Because of what it was like when I was like a 12-year-old at home. And I'm just trying to picture this, okay, with me. I would talk about anything and everything with my mom at any given point. Like when I was in 5th grade, I would talk about anything and everything. Like it was just that transparent. So the fact that I was allowed to express feelings so freely, like I could just say whatever. And also appreciated for anything. Like I would just say or sing a certain way, this, do that. It was never looked at that, oh, this is not how it is supposed to be, right? So I was allowed to be that is why today, the things I do, I never think about like, oh, what will people say? Because my world was like my folks. And when they allowed this, so I'm like, I don't know if, I love everybody and I'm so grateful that they're listening to my music, but I'm like, I don't know if your opinion is something that comes to, it's not
dominate any of the processes.
Because I need to feel free while expressing. And that is what is exciting. Not what I am saying. It's about the fact that I am able to, and that I think my folks really gave that. So, so it's just that it all starts at home where you're just allowed to do what you're doing,
So not an Indian thing to do.
I know.
It's so not, but
no idea.
Ritviz, all I can say is my heart is full. My heart is so full because I'm just thinking, wow, I feel free listening to you. I feel liberated, I feel invigorated because isn't that what it's all about? Inspiring, enabling, supporting. And I cannot tell you how lucky we are to have your parents have supported you because through that you are in a way supporting a lot of people with your music.
Hoping to.
You are inspiring us. You are giving hope to independent singers and composers that are going to come on the scene and say, I want to be like him. And I'm so looking forward to the album. And I cannot wait for the things that you're going to bring on and unleash to I see you making music till the very, very end.
So it's just for me, it's like whatever career that we pursue is formatted around what's going on in like our lives, right? So the music is just a reflection. So I hope to continue being like my whole thing now, Sameera, is just like I just want to be that 26-year-old son, decent boyfriend, whatever it is, right? And as long as I'm being those people in different parts of my personal life, the professional will be a reflection of that, God. So
Ritviz, you are a beautiful soul, and I'm so I'm really thrilled to have had
Thank
you
you.
on this
This was
podcast.
lovely.
Guys, I'm sure you have enjoyed every second of this as I have, because I feel the love, I feel the energy, I feel your parents, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ritviz,
Thank you.
for
This
being
was-
on the Limitless podcast
Yes.
with Westside.
Samira, thank you.
Guys, I hope you have been left with an amazing feeling of going out there on your day and just, going out there and just really maybe sharing, feeling supported, feeling the love. That's what it's all about, being limitless.
Yes.
Thank you, and I will see you soon with the next Limitless podcast.
Yay. Thank you.